Yeah. Hi. This is Matt Bergman, and you are listening, or actually you're watching probably, maybe, the Punk Rock Libertarians podcast. This is episode 100.
Holy shit, it's episode 100.
100%.
Yeah, like, we're into like triple digits. Dude. And yeah, man. And so tonight we've got Jared Snyderman here.
What's up, guys?
And we've got Josh Stavolopagus.
What's going on?
We've got John Vibes.
What's up?
And we've got Logan Dahl.
What's going on?
So,
Logan Dahl.
Yeah, it's episode 100. You know, we normally do this on Sunday nights, but I guess everybody was talking that everybody was kind of saying that we wanted to do this maybe on a Saturday, so everybody could get a little more rowdy.
A little rowdy, a little drunk.
Yeah, a little more crunk.
Maybe crunk.
A little bit.
Crunk even.
I know, like, Josh is on, like, fucking ecstasy right now. He's fucking, he's fucking retarded. He's going to be saying all sorts of crazy shit.
Also not on ecstasy.
And he also said the man bun will be making an appearance later.
Josh just finished off a whole crack rock.
Yes.
Josh
epic,
also said a few weeks ago, I asked him if we could set him on fire, and he said he was up for that. So
Nice.
Actually, I think he said, quote, "I'm already flaming."
Oh, that was low-hanging fruit right there.
Yeah, dude. So, guess what, guys? I'm in fucking Facebook jail again.
Holy shit,
Shocker.
dude. What did you do this time, man?
Dude, I posted another dank meme.
Tell us about the meme you posted.
So yeah, the meme, it was like a classic picture.
Classic.
It was a classic picture.
classic.
It was a classically revered, fucked up photo of these two black males being lynched by this crowd of Caucasians.
Jesus Christ.
And at the
no
top,
wonder you're in Facebook jail.
and like,
hold on.
and at the top it said the reason why you would need a 30-round magazine, and it had all the lynchers numbered 1 through 30. You know, with like
That's
bullets.
right. I did
Yeah.
see that.
So, you know, apparently Facebook doesn't believe that, you know, black males should be able to defend their lives.
That's a shame.
I don't. Yeah, that's pretty
what it
muffed up,
seems
man.
like.
So I'm in Facebook jail for a month for that. For you know, for saying that these
Don't drop the
yeah,
soap in
yeah.
Facebook jail, dude.
Dude, hell yeah.
I really find.
I'm probably safe as long as Stavolopagus isn't there.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, no, it's totally fucked up. You know,
Which
so
automatically means, apparently, if anybody's wondering, that Matt would be a bottom.
what?
Apparently, that means you're deadly afraid of me coming into jail with you.
Oh, dude,
Why does that
dude,
make
enough about your fantasies. Can we get back to the
Alright.
podcast, dude?
What's up with you?
Like, can we get back to the
How long are
podcast?
you in Facebook jail for?
Like 30 fucking days, dude.
Are you serious?
That's a month, dude. That's like 1/12 of a fucking year, dude.
Oh no!
Wow, dude.
No, but does anybody seem to notice that by somebody getting taken down means that if they really think about it, because I guess that they would have to actually think about it, that somebody got offended by somebody pointing out that
Somebody got triggered,
things
dude.
like this don't happen when people are
Hey,
able to defend
Vibes.
themselves.
Vibes, would you say that there was probably a triggering of
Yeah,
sorts?
I
I
would.
think someone triggered.
I would
Was
say.
that possible?
Yeah, dude. Like, because honestly, man, I don't know. Like, I kind of doubt that anybody at Facebook is like fucking looking at these pictures that are being reported.
Well, no, that's the thing. Is like that. It's just
I would say it's probably a bot.
a lot of times it is.
Well, no, they do have
bots.
actual.
I was gonna
but
say.
in some
They-
cases they do.
They look at it later, though.
Okay.
Like it's
If you
the
challenge
bots
it.
and the algorithms that handle it first, and then I think what happens is the humans deal with like the reviews
Excuse
and the
please.
appeals and like after the fact. But yeah, because I know the couple pages that I've worked for have gotten shut down just on somebody, you know, claiming something on, you know, innocuous picture. So it definitely it's a very loose system that is very easily abused.
Yeah, man. This is like, what is this like? My like 4th or 5th time in Facebook jail.
Damn, dude, you're like a lifer.
Yeah.
Dude, what happens when you get banned permanently?
He's
I
a
don't think
one
that-
percenter.
I've yet to see. Have you seen anybody get banned permanently?
I don't think so.
I've never
yeah,
seen that.
yeah.
I've never seen that.
Can you imagine? When
Well, you can make it
If
happen.
somebody gets banned,
I
if
mean, you
someone
pretty much have to
honestly
be like Milo.
gets banned
Yeah.
from Facebook. I mean, how many?
Well, pages have gotten taken down. I know that.
Yeah.
That stuff happens all the time for any
Like
reason.
permanently taken down?
Well,
Depends on, I guess, what they're promoting or putting out there.
Yeah, I know that like every couple months, America Today gets taken down.
America today.
Yeah, that one.
That-
That
Yeah,
one
dude.
gets taken down all the time.
I thought
always-
that they were permanently taken down.
No,
No, I see them posting memes all the time.
Well-
Weren't they at one point?
their page was permanently taken down, and then they had to start all over again. So that was they didn't get their page back. They actually started a whole new one. And I mean, they post the edgiest memes, so I know.
Most the dankest and most edgiest of memes.
Indeed, yeah, that's a good page.
Well, dude, like as soon as I posted that meme last night, I don't think I posted it till like 11:30 or 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But as soon as I posted it, I'm like, fuck, I know I'm gonna get banned for this fucking shit.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, I know I'm gonna catch
I
a ban
wasn't
for this.
expecting for that either.
Well, dude, you have to understand why this meme really pisses off liberals, and you know, I mean, not that conservatives don't get triggered too, but you know, I feel like a liberal watches that meme and it's like it's pro Second Amendment, but it's also
for empowering like
minorities,
African-Americans,
So it's like you know,
Does their brain
it's
explode when they see it?
exactly, yeah. They just don't know like what to think. It just gets them mad, you know, that somebody.
And they report the picture as graphic. That's usually what happens. It doesn't usually have anything to do with it has nothing to do with the fact that whether they like it or not at this point. They look for the most basic reason to not like it. They think, oh, the imagery is offensive to me, so they report it to be taken down.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking ridiculous.
Word, baby cap.
Fuck,
It doesn't
man.
have to be about words anymore either. It could literally be about imagery. If someone feels triggered by colors now, I'm sure they can find a way to have anything you do or say on social media banned because of a particular color.
Yeah, Bergman, stop
something is.
stop posting your gay pride flags on there.
What's wrong with that?
I know, dude. Stop being such a little homophobe, dude.
They're causing seizures apparently.
Dude. That's what I was getting.
Leave me and Josh alone.
So
So
you guys can do whatever you want in the privacy of your own room.
yeah, dude.
Well, how far do you guys
or
think
in
that-
your room when you're not there?
Fine.
How far
clean
do you
up
guys
after
think
yourself.
that the eventual, like the censorship will eventually go?
I don't know, man.
As long
it's
as
a
they
little-
don't do it enough where it pisses everybody off.
Well,
See, that's the thing.
kinda
There's
get
a
away with it.
balance to keep it, and I mean, they can just destroy their business if they push too far.
Right.
And I think they know that.
I mean, it is, technically a free market, so they kind of do have to
To some
respond
extent.
to the clients. Yeah, to as much as it can be.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, do
they
you
are
think it-
still
but,
somewhat.
What I'm saying is, do you think years from now it's going to get even worse to where, like, they're going to tell you what T-shirts you can and can't wear just because, I don't
You
fucking...
mean just in general?
Yeah, I'm talking about in general.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I
That's
think
like,
that
that's
they
like
want
Facebook
that.
1984, dude.
I think that probably the people in control would love that. I
Yeah,
think
for
it all
sure.
depends on how much our neighbors will put up with, because they're the ones that are allowing all this crap to happen, you know?
Right. Yeah, as long as we, I mean, if we keep pushing back the way that we're doing now and it continues to grow, I don't see anything like that ever happening.
Yeah, that's the positive thing.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the liberty movement's only getting larger.
Yeah, dude. It gets larger when you rub it.
Yeah, it does.
And they're
I mean,
planning
the
on
only
rubbing
thing
it
I'm
pretty
afraid
hard
of-
over the next
the only-
4 years. So.
Yeah, exactly. But
Totally.
the only thing I'm sort of afraid of is sort of the cannibalization of the alt-right and like what it's kind of doing to like
I
a lot of
agree.
libertarian people.
There's definitely a lot of division going on right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think positively and just say that it's like growing pains and that we'll move past it. you
Sure.
know?
Who do you know? Or I don't know. I don't know if you want to say names, but I mean, like I keep hearing about all these like alt-right libertarians, and I don't know many of them.
Dude, I fucking know, but I ain't gonna name names. I got in beef with two of them yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and like,
Wow, dude.
I'm not gonna call them out on the podcast because
what
I'm
was the
not gonna
issue?
be
What
like
was the
that.
issue?
All right. Well, the first one was this guy. Me and Derek were coming out with our new book, The Manifesto of the Free Humans. So what we did was we sent a couple of parts of our book around to other anarchists who some of which we agree with on things, and some people who have like more of an alt-right stance. So this one guy we sent our material to, and he was like, yeah, your work isn't really worth my time. And so...
I mean, like, you really can't tell us that, or...
What?
You really can't tell us who said that to you?
I mean, I don't want to start no shit on a podcast that a whole bunch of people are listening
Hey,
to.
why don't you do this? Why don't you whisper it to me, and then I'll call him out.
Just
So
let him-
anyway,
Okay.
I can give a hint though. Last night, this guy at somebody sent me a screenshot of him posting how he was tagging Breitbart, asking if he could have Milo's job at Breitbart. So I mean, if he once brought Milo's job at Breitbart, I would consider that to be a little bit outright.
Yeah, that's
what
I thought.
And so then there's another guy who I kind of will name by name because he's a little bit notorious. I would say he's probably the most notorious alt-right libertarian.
Who?
That's Jared Howe.
Okay, I don't know him.
And, well, he likes
where's he from? I mean, what does he write for?
Liberty Hangout, which...
Oh, is he the guy who's always putting up the pro-Trump shit?
Exactly. Yeah.
That gets fucking annoying.
And he's very pro-Trump. He's very into the whole saving Western civilization thing. Yeah. And he got into a debate yesterday online with a friend of mine, and he was just... A friend was like, what do you mean by Western civilization? Are you like one of these people who are like want to create a white nation? And he straight up said, yeah, now you're getting it.
What?
And, he went on to say that he believes that
But isn't like Eric July, isn't he a member of like Liberty Hangout?
And they do shows together. It's really strange. That is and
very
I
strange.
think Eric July, I think he's got a soul, and I think he does do a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that site, there are a lot of alt-right, people on that site. And Jared Howe, man, that guy, he's putting out all the pro-Trump stuff. And he said on that whole Western civilization front, he like ran with the whole thing that libertarianism is just a bunch of white dudes. And he's like, yeah, it's like that for a reason. It's because we're the only ones who understand freedom. And
Wow. Yeah.
that, I think, is like... We don't need that. You know
I think that's false. Well, of course
Absolutely.
you do too. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's one of those things, man. If like fucking if they want to have groups that feel like that, it's as long as they're not hurting people, I don't care. But at the same time, I guess we don't want to really be associated with them either.
Yeah, they do have their right to free speech, but that doesn't mean that we have to put our stamp of approval on the specific speech that they're putting out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
We should just tell
I feel bad for naming names and calling people out, but I mean you forced me into it.
No.
But I mean, I would argue from
So essentially, you're talking about the fact that people are using the label of libertarian when they're
it
fundamentally
kind of
not.
tarnishes the idea of the philosophy, which like the philosophy has nothing to do with like Western civilization or any of that shit.
It doesn't.
It's just about fucking voluntary interactions and zero coercion in relationships and
property rights and
property
things like
rights.
that.
Yeah.
And
So what does this have to like? You can you can invent all these other sort of philosophies and I guess use voluntarism as their as a root or something, but like none of that other shit is implied at all in the principles. Like there's nothing that you can extrapolate without adding in all this other just shit that's going on right now and like sort of
is
using
somebody
it as
in the chat calling us out?
No. Somebody.
Who gives a fuck? Fuck that bitch.
No, I was saying no one's calling anybody out. Somebody in the
Well, you're fucking interrupting me.
Someone in the chat actually is asking a really good question.
Oh yeah, is it about the band bun?
No, Matt, it's not. Fuck off.
Look, I'm not even going to argue whether it's bad or good to have an ethno state. Yeah. I'm telling you, it has nothing to fucking do with libertarianism.
I agree. Yeah, and
I'm getting tired of hearing that shit.
It's a moot point. And the other thing is people are talking about like, oh, homogenous communities are always good and stuff like that. Most violence occurs between people who are similar,
exactly,
and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So
That's
I don't
why,
think that's a principle.
Which is funny because these sorts of people always bring up the whole black on black crime argument when we're talking about like police violence. they're like, well, black people kill more black people than the police do. It's like,
So do white people. So do Spanish people.
Yeah, exactly. So how does that, go to your whole thing of like, oh, we just need to just if everyone's just the same color, then we won't have any problems.
Yeah,
I mean,
like, look, on the one hand, I'm all for like
stupid.
I'm all for like interbreeding with like other races and like to the point where like we really don't have that anymore.
And that's what they call white genocide. That's what they call white genocide.
Yeah, that's fucking
Dude, I think
retarded.
Josh was talking about that last week, dude.
No,
Well,
Josh.
one
was not,
point
with
I
you.
definitely wanted. He's like,
No, I do not. Fucking
I mean,
talk
I would
about
love for
white
everybody.
genocide.
I would love
It's
for
a
everybody
fucking
to be the
bullshit
same
myth.
color because I do think it would get rid of just the whole, any sort of race baiting and race cards and all that shit. But it
it'll be
doesn't mean
something else.
What's that?
It'll always be something
Right.
else.
I'm not
to
saying, and I don't
divide
think it would
us.
solve any problems.
Yeah.
But I also don't want like people that are already a certain color to be, well, you don't belong here because
exactly.
we need this fucking ethnic state for some bullshit reasons.
And one point that I want to make about this whole like idea where it's just the Western civilizations that know about freedom and stuff. A lot of people, So yeah, in the Middle East, there's a lot of violence and there's a lot of what I guess you could call primitive type tribalism going on.
Sure.
However, there are pockets in the Middle East where there are cultures of voluntarism and stuff. Like if you look at the Kurds and what they're doing in Rojava, they basically have an anarchist enclave that they're using as a base to fight ISIS.
Really?
And yeah, I
That's
actually,
cool as shit.
I'll send you an article I wrote about it. It's really interesting. Cool. And most of the, I wouldn't say most, but at least half of the fighters are women. And they're like kicking ass. And, they're not oppressed, but they still, some of them are practicing Muslims, some of them are Christian, and they all live together in this society. And a lot of people have this idea where, in the Middle East, people just kill each other over religion all the time. And yes, that happens in the statist societies, but there are enclaves where they do have traditions of freedom. So to make a blanket statement to say that all people in this area of the earth don't understand freedom is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, of course.
But sorry for the tangent.
No, I mean, it's perfectly valid, man, because I'm getting sort of more and more annoyed at it. I mean, I was initially annoyed when you had, people like Stefan Molyneux and Walter Block, who started that fucking, like, Libertarians for Trump shit. And, I just, and it's sort of, like, been growing, like, kind of like a cancer, Like,
So what do you think about, like, Walter Block?
I think he's done a lot of great work in the past, but... I
think that he does. I mean, wasn't he not even necessarily advocating? Wasn't he not even advocating like voting for Trump in the general? Just maybe just in the primary. I mean,
that's like splitting hairs. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's. I don't know. I mean, ultimately, I like the guy, and I'm not going to like unfriend anybody because of who they voted for.
Who?
Yeah, I
Walter
agree.
Block?
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, look, everyone's entitled to their... All I'm saying is...
It's
you
disappointing.
Can like yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And like you can like Trump and you can you can like the alt-right. Like it doesn't necessarily bother me. I mean, in some ways some of it bothers me, but like the idea, I'm more concerned about the idea of like libertarianism
being associated.
equated, and associated with it. Like if that's what your method of doing whatever you want to do, fine, but like one does not imply the other. That's all I'm saying.
And I think the thing with the alt-right, it's like I feel like some people that were in it were white supremacists, and it was like, so it kind of like, like it totally like tarnished the the identification of calling yourself alt-right.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So like I don't think it was always as bad as it is maybe now, because I think a lot of people just disassociated with it because of that like white supremacy association.
Well, I honestly feel like it was always a part of it. I mean, because Cantwell was on the bandwagon with that pretty early on.
Hey, I just want to say fuck Cantwell, dude.
I should have mentioned him first off.
Yeah.
He's like the alt-right, like, I don't even know what to call him, but he is one of the token alt-righters.
Yeah. I mean, it's just sad, man. It's like him and Stefan Molyneux and these people that are sort of like the quote-unquote leaders.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want us to use that word. But they're the people, the most visible people. And, like, just the
Is
casual
Molyneux
person.
like a eugenicist now or something?
Yeah, he
What?
is. He
He's
is.
a eugenicist
100%.
Molyneux?
Molyneux?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like
Fucking ridiculous.
this is supposed to be a movement of peace. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed, and this isn't some like, you know, bleeding heart liberal stuff. Like, but we really we want to put out a message of peace and understanding and intelligence. That's what we're about. We're not about this, you know, lowbrow, like, you know, kill the undesirables or get rid of the undesirables
Right.
type stuff that's creeping in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But besides the Jews, of course.
Jesus Christ.
Matt just says the most offensive. He's trying to be Milo.
Dude, I was just
That's-
fucking.
Yeah,
with,
now that
I was
Milo's
fucking
been
with Jared.
dethroned,
Yeah,
Dude,
Matt's
Matt-
trying to take over.
Matt wants to take Milo's place too.
You know,
I was just gonna try to lighten things
so that's
up.
a nice
dude.
little
Just gonna
segue
try to lighten
to,
things up, dude.
Yeah, maybe we should talk about that.
Yeah, let's segue right into the whole Milo.
You're the
controversy.
one who actually watched the video though, right?
I didn't watch every video, but I watched the main ones that were on the Blaze.
Dude, so you're telling
Article
us
that came out?
like, so you're coming with some half-assed documents, dude?
Dude, I'm coming with at least a quarter of the documents.
Like,
That's all I fucking
What
need.
documents?
Um,
Documents?
Yeah, so I'm sure most people have heard about this, but I think it was a few days ago it came out. An article on the Blaze, I think, was what kind of kicked it off, but they had compiled a bunch of clips from a variety of podcasts, one of them including the Joe Rogan podcast that happened like 3 or 4 months ago. And excuse me. So yeah, it compiled like a bunch of clips of him doing what basically seemed like condoning, I guess you would call it pederasty, or basically like adults having sex with 13-year-olds. Now he was, you know, his response was basically, you know, that he had been a victim of child abuse. You know, some priest had like fucked him when he was like a 13-year-old. And when he was talking about this in the podcast, where it basically sounded like he was condoning this behavior, but he sort of said, well, in my situation, I didn't feel like I was a victim. But I'm not saying that everybody has to feel that way. Now, you can listen to what he said, and he doesn't really say that on the podcast. He kind of says it as though it is okay in general, which is sort of what, you know, caused the issue. He's had his book canceled because of this.
$250,000 deal.
Yeah, and it was probably going to get more than that.
Yeah, that was the advance. That was the sign-in bonus.
Right. And it was already at like the top spot on Amazon for like a while, and it had like dropped maybe to like the third before this happened. And then he also was forced to resign from Breitbart, which is a big deal because he's like their only writer that anyone cares about. Breitbart. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
that
got
is-
really bad.
That is pretty. Yeah, I mean, like, who else is there? You know.
I mean, I don't know any of them by name.
You
I
know,
mean, his are the only articles I've ever really read that I found worth reading from there. Everything else is just pro-Trump propaganda.
You know, well, the thing about the Milo thing, it's like basically, yeah, in that Rogan interview, he acted like he wasn't a victim. He acted like it was consensual and he was cool with that. But, you know, did you see like the press conference he did? I think it was like Tuesday at 3:00 Eastern.
I saw like the transcript. But I
Yeah,
did not
so
watch it.
I mean, I was watching that, and he was talking about himself as if he was a victim in that situation, and
Yeah.
he basically said the left was victim shaming him, which I think is, I mean,
But
you
dude,
know, I mean, it's one of those things. Like maybe they were, you know, maybe
they were.
he
Maybe
was,
that's his way of coping with it.
yeah, but maybe
or whatever. But I mean, the statement is still somewhat irresponsible.
Yeah.
If you want to have a discussion about the age of consent, that's fine.
Sure.
But you got to be really fucking responsible
Is it fine?
about
Yeah.
that.
Is it fine?
It's
Because,
fine to
like,
have that discussion.
It's
I mean,
definitely fine to have that discussion.
It's nobody really has that discussion though.
Well,
not true.
there was a libertarian from New Hampshire who tried to have that discussion and got in a lot of trouble a couple
Exactly.
months
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. I know, dude.
So-
I know, but,
But
I mean,
did
I'm just
he go-
saying.
do you think he
that's
went
why
about
I'm
it
saying.
responsibly?
That's why I'm saying
I
it's
think
not
he
really
did
fine.
actually.
Yeah.
I think for the most part he did handle it responsibly, and I think that politics in the area was kind of the reason why he got ousted. And I mean, politics definitely played a role in Milo's situation too.
Yeah.
But he was asking for it to quite an extent. You know
Sure,
what I mean?
yeah. It was weird though because like the Joe Rogan clip, which wasn't nearly as damning because, you know, he was basically just saying. Well, it was like he said something about who he calls like Father Michael, who's apparently the priest who raped him or whatever. And he's like, well, Father Michael, you know, because of Father Michael, I give better head now. And he sort of like made a joke about it. And so it wasn't like outright saying like what Father Michael did was perfectly okay. You know, it just came off as a joke, but that was sort of dug up as like more evidence of this.
Yeah, he said
support.
a lot of fucking crazy things on that Joe Rogan podcast.
Well, yeah, he said a lot of like ridiculous religious shit.
Well,
too,
that
but-
and just shit that doesn't make any sense. Even if it's not controversial, like it just didn't make sense. He's like he was telling like fat people to stay out of like gyms and stuff until they're appropriate size to come to the gym because he didn't want to look at them.
What?
Yeah, he did say that.
Oh my god!
And he was like, "Don't do cardio. It like does nothing for you." And Joe Rogan, the big like health freak he is, he's like, "That is not true at all."
So Joe like actually called him out on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh
pretty
yeah,
funny.
Joe was fucking holding him to the fire, man. Like,
But he does that
like
with
he got into
everybody.
with him about like the religious shit, the religious shit, because like Milo was just talking about like how, you know, the West is superior because of Christianity or whatever, and
All that
Joe
stuff.
Rogan was like, yeah, fuck that shit.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so
I mean, no offense to people who are like libertarian Christians and stuff.
No,
but
I mean,
like,
I don't give a fuck.
You know,
Yeah.
they probably do understand the problems with the organized religion.
yeah, and I mean, there's also like, you know, there's certainly benefits that came from Christianity. I'm not saying it's like this horrible plague.
Well, here's the thing
But-
though. Any, I have to say this as a person who I don't really identify as being Christian anymore. I really can't. Any Christian that believes that the government should legislate, like, you know, against abortion and things like that, because there are a lot of most Christians do. If any Christian that's a libertarian agrees with that, they're not libertarians.
I mean, because you
Eh,
can make the
I don't
argument
know,
against
dude.
that.
No, you can't make an argument against
because
that.
you're putting your religion in front of the system
But
of
it's
law
not-
that rules everyone else around you.
No,
But it's
false.
not a religious. It's
People
complicated.
could argue.
It tends to be like
I mean, but you can make a perfectly
non-aggression
secular
principle.
Yeah, you can make a perfectly secular argument for banning abortion if you say
can.
the age of, or not the age of consent.
You
the
can.
the moment
that's
of conception. Hold on, the moment of conception starts, you know,
life.
earlier on, and it starts a life. Or the moment of conception is when the life starts, is what I mean. But if you believe that, and you don't necessarily need to have religious reasons to believe that. It's definitely a scientific conversation that needs to happen, and a philosophical conversation that needs to happen.
Scientific, yes, but
But-
until it's scientific, then
Well, no, but it's more of a philosophical question because you're talking about what
You
could
can't
potentially be murder.
Yeah, you can. I don't think that scientists are ever really going to be able to prove when life begins, just like they can't prove where consciousness exists.
and the other thing I want to say,
it's a more philosophical.
Yeah,
question.
it's a philosophical question. So
and dude, I also think that people who talk about science a lot have become a religion of their own.
I agree entirely with that.
Some of
It's
them
called
have.
scientism. I definitely think.
but there are
Oh,
scientists who are against scientism.
I saw a study. We didn't have this as an official topic, but I just wanted to mention it.
evangelical aitheists
Off-
is usually what they
yeah, they're,
offhand.
like anybody who's evangelical is fucking annoying, except for
There-
libertarians. 'Cause
There
they're
was
awesome.
this report recently. I just shared it last night from the BBC that said that. I'm going to look it up real quick so I could get the exact number, but I think it was like 70% or something
Of what?
of scientific studies can't be replicated. So it's like garbage.
I saw that article quite a while ago.
Yeah.
This was on the BBC.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so most scientists can't replicate studies by their peers is the name of the headline, if anyone wants to look that up. And it is pretty interesting, and that's not to say anything bad about the scientific method,
Yeah.
but the establishment is obviously corrupt, and in this day and age, everything, can be influenced by regulation or, corporate money.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't like I don't really like I like Neil deGrasse Tyson and like
I like him.
fucking Bill Nye. Dude, he's paid for.
Yeah, and then Bill
they
Nye,
write him a
he
check.
went on that pro-GMO stuff, which I
Well,
know.
no, I don't really like Bill Nye. I think he's
I think-
deluded, but,
yeah, but
I
Bill
do
Nye's-
like NDT though.
I did tell you.
I mean, he was
agree
on
with
Joe
Jer Bear.
Rogan, and it was fucking awesome.
I like them both.
Like they didn't talk about
I like them
politics at all.
No.
It was just straight up like cool science shit.
Yeah, like I like the space stuff, but a lot of these guys do get into
You don't
political.
think you don't
Sure,
think,
and I hate that.
you don't
but
think-
that was like the breath of fresh air was.
The
listening to this
reason I don't
podcast
like
was
it-
you don't think Bill Nye debating Ken Ham on science
But
is
dude,
not entertaining?
It's
I mean,
entertaining,
but that's
it's
the,
like,
that's the whole point.
dude,
That's
it
all they
shouldn't be-
are.
it was
They're
enter-
entertainers.
That shit was entertaining to me like fucking 4 years ago.
Okay, so yeah, but also
Not even, like,
also,
fucking 10 years ago.
Philosophically, you can't say that that's not a debate that needs to happen.
Oh yeah,
I
Publicly.
mean, I'm not saying it doesn't need to happen. I'm just saying, for me personally, like, yeah, I already know that fucking evolution is real. Like,
Yeah, I know, but I mean, even within that, like people don't even realize that there's also compartmentalizations of people that are religious and also evolutionists.
yeah, I'm just
I-
not sure
I-
how
I've heard-
valuable it is to debate someone like that because they're not dealing in the world of facts.
It's not. That's not what I'm saying, though. The fact that they're not dealing in the world of facts is something that you already know. The fact that but that truth needs to be shown to a larger, group of people.
But I like more of like
Not to-
the
not to-
debates that Sam Harris would have with like rabbis or priests and shit like that, because those are actually people that are like
Well, also, yeah, I
that
get
are
it.
like pretty rigorous like theologians,
well
and,
read.
and well read, and like they understand all the arguments for God and the arguments against God. But like Ken Ham, that guy's just a fucking retard. I mean, come on.
I'm not talking about like I'm not
He
saying
wants
but
to rebuild the fucking ark.
I
Like,
I
or he did.
understand. I understand that, but
Yeah.
that needs people need to see that this is something that exists.
Sure.
So,
That's fair.
I mean, the debate of religion and science, I think, needs to be had in a broader with a wider audience reach, rather than within just little groups, because that's usually what it is. Because I mean, the science community also has conferences.
I see that as the science and religious thing as somewhat of a false dichotomy, though. Because, I mean, I consider myself a spiritual but not religious person.
Yeah.
So I don't subscribe to any of the mainstream religion. And I'm also, not... I'm not extremely trusting of science because of the stuff I just mentioned. But, a lot of the things that that science deals with is the world of the five senses. And when it comes to things beyond the five senses, science can't really prove or disprove that.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But I do
understand that.
definitely understand there is a time and a place for the debate you're talking about. Absolutely.
And that's what I mean. I also don't think it should be in heavy using like heavy terminology and
Does
things like
anybody
that.
have a
It needs to
ballot
be
over here?
it needs to be a very what? It needs to
Left
be
one over somewhere.
said with basic language for people
Gracias.
of all ages to understand that this
In
is a
layman's
normal debate.
terms.
Yeah, I mean completely. It needs to be in layman's terms.
Right.
And that's what they do, is what you're saying, basically. Word.
So you're saying like the debate with Ken Ham is sort of like
Literally, it's
getting
on-
to the lowest common denominator and just kind of saying
I'm not
like,
even saying,
this
I
is
don't, and
bullshit.
I don't mean to say that it's Bill Nye using the lowest common denominator, but it's showing that literally this argument is a very basic. I mean, it is. I don't mean basic as far as the meaning to people, whether God created the earth and whether God created life on earth and everything like that.
Well, there's
That's
a
not
difference
what I'm
between
saying.
that and saying the Earth is 6,000 years old.
Absolutely.
Like there's a difference between
Yeah,
saying like,
how do I have like
but
people
I
that
have to make this point though. Even as a person who grew up born again Christian, creationist, I was never ever told the earth was only a couple thousand years old. It was the understanding that, and even if you read in the Bible, it says, in the Bible it says, God moved over the bodies of the water, which means the earth had to be created for the water to be on the earth. So the earth was already there after, and it only says, it talks about creation of life, not the creation of earth, which means earth has to be could be much older.
yeah, I mean, there's definitely.
I was never told that it was like, oh, it's only like a couple thousand years old. We're like, no, the earth is millions of years old.
Yeah.
Well, there's a
But there
lot
are
of
people that
room
believe
for.
that.
It's more
There's
than
a lot
that.
of-
It's billion.
Yeah,
It's about
I mean,
4.5
like,
billion,
like,
apparently.
even as a young child who didn't know, the exact. I don't know the exact age of the Earth, but I never thought it was 6,000 years old. And I mean, this
According
is,
to
as a person
Google,
who's
it's
born
like
again Christian.
4.5 billion, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was never told that type of theory. I mean, I was also told about like theological evolution, whereas like the Big Bang. I know like people that believe that God created the Big Bang and then evolution happened. Like there's a lot.
I'm
of
even skeptical of the Big Bang.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Same.
math starts after it apparently happened. Like they fudged the math to prove the Big Bang. So like,
Well, then you're saying it's not really proven. Then
it's not.
It's
it
a
is
theory.
a theory. It
It's
is
a
a theory.
theory.
yeah, good.
Yeah, and so many people like just
Well, that's why it's
treat that shit as
called
law.
the Big Bang
There's
theory.
definitely good evidence to support that. That's
accepted
what happened.
theory.
Yeah, well, there
Yes,
are
absolutely.
alternative theories
Sure,
like the
yeah.
electric universe theory, which I'm not too much of a science guy, but I've looked a little bit into it, and it is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
there's all
actually-
sorts of theories about, multiple, the multiverse, and
That was a great
all-
episode of Rick and Morty too.
Yeah,
It really fucking was.
yeah. I mean, obviously, we can never test unless we recreate our own Big Bang, which is kind of what they're
Trying
trying
to
to
do,
do with like
yeah.
the Large
Exactly.
Hadron Collider.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of data and there's a lot of science that can sort of say like, well, this to a certain degree of likelihood is probably what happened. Obviously we don't know what caused it. We don't know if it was God snapping his fingers or if it was a fucking someone in another universe creating us in their universe or who the fuck knows. But
It's a theory,
That's-
and I think every theory deserves to be heard. I also
well, I don't know about every theory.
Well, I'm not saying. You know what I mean.
I mean, you can say it. I'm not going to put a
Legit-
gun
I
to your
wouldn't
head.
say like
but-
legitimate, but like
I might not listen.
theories that have some type of depth
I-
and research, I think
I-
deserve to be heard.
I think every stone should be unturned, just because if you think about,
You mean turned?
well, yeah, yeah,
Just
good
don't
point, good
turn
point.
over any stones.
Don't turn
Don't turn
over.
over any
Turn
fucking
over
stone.
any stones,
But
put
if
your
you
head
think
in the
about it-
sand.
I swear to
go
God.
back to sleep.
There's a lot of people on this
Taxation is
earth
not theft.
who are like sheltered, and they, they'll go through life not wanting to look at, things that might seem weird,
Yeah.
and a lot of that stuff might be true.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, even like Neil deGrasse Tyson on the Joe Rogan show, he says, a lot of the stuff that they discover through the scientific method with like astrophysics defies common sense.
yeah.
Like it defies what you would normally expect to happen. It doesn't really make any sense on its face. But here you have the data, and this is what the data says, so you accept it. And obviously you test it and you retest it and all that. But yeah, I mean the universe is definitely stranger than what we think, for sure.
And while we're on that topic, maybe we could talk about some spacey type stuff that's happened in the news
Yeah.
this week.
So I think who wanted to talk about? Was that you?
Yeah. So what was it? Wednesday, I think NASA had a press conference, and they announced that they found a new solar system just outside of ours called TRAPPIST-1.
TRAPPIST-1.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And I mean, I was real excited. I had heard about it a few days prior, and I kept tweeting at NASA, just hoping it was aliens. But
Yeah.
You tweeted at NASA.
yeah, all day I was like, give me a hint. Is it aliens or? And then when they announced it, I was just like, so what you're saying is it's not aliens.
Well, Collective Evolution got banned from Reddit for asking NASA during an AMA if it was aliens.
Really?
They just straight got banned from Reddit
What?
this week. Yeah.
That's fucking
That's weird.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I
Do
don't
they have
know.
like a thing that said, "Please don't ask questions about aliens"?
Banned on Reddit. That's
Yeah.
difficult to do. Isn't it?
That's pretty
Apparently,
easy.
all you have to do is
Yeah.
ask about
Apparently now
aliens.
it's not.
Well, you can get banned from certain subreddits.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Easily, yeah.
Banned from 4
But yeah, so they say that multiple planets in this solar system are possibly habitable, which is
Yeah.
another one of those things that defies logic and is just trippy as hell.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, 3 of the planets It's what, 7 planets,
Yeah, I
including
think
the star,
so, yeah.
or plus the star that it revolves around.
What?
Yeah, it's.
Well, 'cause
I'm
it's-
not
it's
sure the
like
exact.
their
It has
own
to have
sun.
a star, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I
It's
wasn't
either
sure. If,
6 or 7.
they had discovered part of them a few years ago, actually, and they just now found the rest of them, part of the same solar system, and it's about 40 light years away, which is a couple hundred million years away. And the only way we would ever get there is first we'd have to accomplish light speed, and it would take about 45 years to get there with light speed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. But
Dude, that's like, there's so
the thing
much.
is, though, it's still possible.
Yeah, well, the only way you'd really be able to pull it off is
Theoretically,
you'd have to, like,
Cryogenic tubes.
yeah, like,
like fucking Alien.
yeah, like an Alien or Interstellar or something like that. Unless you really can, like, travel through a wormhole.
I wonder if
and-
Donald Trump's thought about building a space wall.
Yeah, I mean, if it's the case that, you know, our concept of, like, time...
We will build a space wall.
I'm just going to get into shit that's fucking ridiculous, so
I have
just
friends in
abandon
space.
that thought. Yeah,
I'm number 1 in space.
I mean, it's in all likelihood, there's fucking gotta be intelligent life.
That's what I'm saying.
Or,
like,
I mean,
No
well,
one cares
there's
more about
definitely
space
life.
than Donald Trump.
Like, now we
Yeah.
know there's most certainly... Obviously, they haven't found life on these planets, but we know probably there... Since these planets can exist, and there can be fucking 4 of them in one solar system, there's got to be life on other planets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The question is, has it gotten to the point on any other planet that it's actually intelligent?
yeah, have they gotten to the point where they're killing each other with nuclear weapons yet?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
That's
what
when
if-
you know you're really
What if
intelligent.
one day, like, like 200 years from now, we actually finally get to one of these planets, and, like,
They just shoot us with a nuke.
what if they're, like, dumber than we are?
I know, that would suck,
no.
wouldn't it?
Like, they're a few
I don't know. That'd be pretty
thousand
cool,
years
though.
behind us.
Yeah,
jeez.
but I mean, we don't even
It's
know that they would be.
idiocracy.
We don't know that they would be like
Humanoid?
humanoid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. We don't know that.
They could be fucking like lizards that.
It's gonna be like
have-
space. Was it Space Quest?
It would be it would be weird as hell if it was a situation where they were like there chilling, speaking English. Like
What? Yeah. Damn, dude. But I mean, if the universe is infinite, it's fucking possible.
Yeah, there's so many
It's
possibilities.
not only possible; it's likely.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
more than likely.
Could be.
I would
could be
Well,
love-
another thing that
coneheads.
NDT
be
was talking
coneheads,
about was
man.
like there's different infinities.
That's pretty crazy.
There's different
That's-
like
that's
mathematical
insane.
infinities, and he was explaining, and I don't remember at all what he was saying.
See, I would love to be alive
My
when
brain shut off when he started speaking.
Well, I
I,
was, like,
I would
working
love
at
to
it.
be alive when any kind of contact is made between,
Oh,
like, because
man,
that's
yeah.
probably like the biggest moment, like in humanity. If you think through history, like historical events, there's not much bigger than meeting people from another freaking planet.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be fucking crazy. Is that SETI thing still going on? Where you can
Oh!
like donate your computer processing power to like find.
Yeah, I use that as
Find
an
aliens.
example in my book for voluntary association and stuff. Because
Oh, yeah?
that was a government program, and then NASA was like, yeah, we're going to shut that down. But so many people actually liked it
Yeah.
that they ended up funding it and operating it, and now it's more well-funded and operational than it ever was
Oh, really?
before. So it kind of goes to show you that if we don't need taxation for SETI, then we definitely don't need taxation for roads.
Right.
You know?
Now
Exactly.
explain SETI.
It is the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, and it is
Where
an-
do I sign up?
It is an effort.
SETI.org probably.
You can
Yeah.
sign up with me and you can
It's
go to see David
SETI.
Duchovny.
It's SETI, all capitals.
I gotta
want to
take it.
believe.
I gotta
And,
take it. I'm going.
It's like a volunteer thing that even scientists volunteer for, and average people volunteer for, whether they watch NASA feeds or, like you said, donate their processing power.
Yeah.
So that is like a really awesome example
Yeah.
of just people coming together and just doing things that people thought only the government can do without
Yeah.
the government.
And yeah, it's something sort of trivial that people are still willing to like put, give their resources, give their time. Like, you don't think that people want roads?
Exactly.
Like-
Roads, hospitals, all that stuff. They're gonna put money voluntarily for that.
I mean, this is like, I mean, you see this example all the time. You know, like with the whole Planned Parenthood thing. Like, they say they're going to like stop funding, then all of a sudden they get like
Yeah,
fucking
then
millions of
Chili's.
dollars.
Chili's is like, we'll donate $50 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I heard somebody donated or I heard a bunch of people donated like $9 million under Mike Pence.
That's pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
Which is like fine. I have no problem with people doing that. Like, that's awesome.
hysterical.
I just, I don't think the government needs to or ought to, should, or needs to,
Yep.
Yeah. If people find something important, they're more than happy to donate to. A lot of people throw out the quote-unquote freeloader problem, but I don't think that that's as much of a problem as people say because, if I make a little bit of extra money one month or something, I'm happy to kick some in voluntarily, and I don't mind if somebody gets a free ride out of it. Usually, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I don't either.
Now,
But isn't that
and
sort of-
also though, I would say there is a kind of a thing where like people, I believe, would be less likely to fuck over a private voluntary charity than a government.
100%, absolutely.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And there's also the idea of like,
And taxation and stuff.
if we had a culture where like that's the only way that shit got funded and shit got done, and you had freeloaders, don't you think those people would be like ostracized, like to a
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah,
ridiculous
totally.
degree?
Take
Like,
advantage of a charity. I
like,
mean,
oh, he's one of those. He's one of those guys that doesn't kick it off of this
look
road
at Home
that he
Alone
uses.
Lost in New York.
Like he's one of those
Look how well that worked,
Stopalofacuses.
stealing from a charity.
Not only that, is there would
ostracized.
probably be
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be a charity either, but
there
yeah.
would probably be just a certain level of self-enforcement and self-shame too, where they would just be like, "Oh, I'm not a part of what's going on right now, and I'm kind of like taken from people." People's conscience would naturally set in. I don't want to do that. Like you said, if it's the type of culture in
right.
that
It's got to
society.
be like,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like if you did it tomorrow, like you'd probably get a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
Because people are used to like freeloading because they're just freeloading off of the government, which is freeloading off of everyone else.
Yeah, but it's
So-
not their neighbor that they're looking at in the
Yeah,
face. And
exactly.
when that situation happens, when it's a voluntary thing, when your neighbors are helping you out and you know the people, I think that there's more of an incentive to give back and be a part of everything.
Totally, dude. It's like nobody ever saw Mad Max. No, I just fuck with you. No, but it's like, so what do you say to people like that who are like, you're just in like a libertarian utopia. It would really be like Mad Max or fucking Somalia.
I mean, I think it wouldn't be a utopia at all because things would still happen, but it definitely wouldn't be no Mad Max.
But there's no way to say that it wouldn't be either. But you would just normally assume that we hope to, to whatever it is that people would have something within them that would keep them from not being complete maniacs.
100%. I think the only way that
The
a
real
Mad
social
Max
contract.
The only way that a Mad Max scenario is likely is if you have people who are already mentally poisoned from a society like the one we have now that goes into an immediate collapse where the people are already screwed up in the head and all that they know is that type of lifestyle. That's when you'd get a Mad Max. But the effort that we're trying to make here, advancing philosophy, is hoping to remove the poison from that people's minds so they can cohabitate a little bit better when things collapse.
Exactly, yeah. That's why I always say, like, and I'm not the only one who said this, but, like, I wouldn't push the anarchy button tomorrow
I agree.
if I could. I want, it's got to happen naturally. It's got to happen as a consequence of people, not to sound cliche, but, like, waking up and realizing, like, oh, taxation is theft.
Yep.
And
I like to say that an evolution of consciousness is a necessary part of the transition towards anarchism.
definitely, yeah.
So,
I feel like we skipped a few.
We're
totally
jumping
did.
around, bro.
Liberty memes.
Well,
All right,
actually,
I guess oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, as far as flipping the anarchy switch tomorrow, I have a feeling that the Trump administration might be trying to do that by banning weed.
You think like people in Colorado will get so pissed about that they'd rebel?
I think so.
I'm running low on battery.
I definitely think so. So for the people who might not know what we're talking about, this week, what's his name? Splicer?
Sean Spicer.
Sean Spicer,
the press secretary.
Press secretary for the Trump administration, has threatened to go after legal weed in the states where it has been, now that we have these green states where people can have recreational marijuana.
Right.
I honestly think that this is a cat that you cannot put back in the bag, and that if you start telling people in these states that they are going to get arrested for this, not to mention if you tell the business owners that are now bringing in billions, that, there is going... I have a feeling that is going to be a more contentious issue than the draft was in the Vietnam War if he tries to go through it.
Oh, you think so?
I think it will be that contentious, if not more.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think it's something you can reverse that quickly. What do you guys think?
I think if he did somehow move in and fucking just basically say nope and like shut all these places down, whoever comes in next, it's going to be a bigger snowball effect.
A big campaign issue.
That, and it's going to be a big snowball effect that not only are all these states going to get back the right to, sell
but they'll
this.
just say like, all right, now it's legal everywhere.
Well, I think it's it's still gonna be left up to the states, but more states are gonna fall in line.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was gonna be.
It may be like a longer thing out than.
Didn't Sessions say something? He's like about that. It was like, well, if everybody wants to, if all these states want to legalize weed, why don't we just nationally legalize weed? He said it like really flippantly, and some of the people, representatives from other states were like,
That's exactly what we're trying to
Could
get.
you imagine if that backfired and the states were like, we're just going to legalize it, we're going to vote on it.
Well, I've heard people argue for Sessions in that he just wants to enforce. He doesn't want to add any new laws. He just wants to enforce the existing laws. It's like number one, he's on record as saying like only bad people smoke marijuana, which doesn't bode well for good drug policy. And number two, it's like okay. What I don't give a fuck about that. Like, okay, you can't just enforce bad laws. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't let you off the hook. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I saw one article that I didn't even really read it, but I saw the headline and it said Trump going after marijuana is political suicide in 2017.
Yeah,
and I think that's wholeheartedly true. But maybe
but
it's
one
just
would argue
talk.
he's already committed political suicide at this point. Well, how much worse can it really get? But yeah. Anyways, what were you saying?
I think you were chiming in there, right, Logan?
Well, I'm just sitting here. I'm very curious as to where Trump supporters would draw the actual line in the sand with Trump. Be like, all right, I don't know if we could
these
do
like
that.
so-called libertarians that are supporting Trump. Like, what are they? How are they going to spin?
Well,
this
not just
one?
libertarians. I'm talking about in general. Just Trump
Well, there's
supporters.
definitely anti-weed Trump supporters.
Well, yeah, for sure. But I'm saying, like, what would it take for them to be like, yeah, maybe Trump ain't all that great?
I don't know, dude. I mean, you could make that argument about Obama.
Oh, yeah,
That's very true.
Say.
That's very true.
All these people that worship these politicians, it seems like, the politician could, like, knock on their door and piss in their face, and they'd be totally cool with it.
They'd be happy for the free water.
yeah, like golden showers and shit.
Yeah.
That's what Matt's into.
So,
Right, buddy?
it really does seem
Speaking of
like.
which, what are you drinking there, Matt?
But come to think of it, there was
Frothy piss.
There was a little bit among the hardcore liberals. There was a little bit of like a honeymoon is over period with Obama.
Really?
Once he did not follow through with everything. I would say with not your Democrats, but your more like extreme socialist liberals and stuff.
Oh yeah.
They weren't happy with his continuation of the wars and the drone strikes and stuff like that. So I think that there's going to be a segment of the Trump population that's probably going to eventually start. To answer the question, though, I think when people's lives are affected personally, because I've seen like things posted around like, oh, Trump did this and now I lost my job and I voted for Trump and now I'm pissed.
Right.
I have a feeling it's going to be stuff like that affects
get
individuals.
Yeah.
Like, didn't somebody like vote for Trump and then they got deported or something?
I heard that's what. Yeah, I heard something
Well,
like
I mean,
that. Yeah.
like, how can you get? How can you can't really vote if you can be deported, right? I mean, how does that work?
Well, there are people that actually are citizens that have been deported at this point. There have been
Wow,
because
really?
it's such a fucking mess. There have been people who are legit like born in America can't get the fuck back in right now because of some paperwork bullshit.
Well, that's not necessarily the same as deporting, though.
Well, no, I've read both actually.
Okay.
I've read that either they're stuck at the airport or they're legit. They got picked up by ICE.
Okay.
There's one guy that's detained by ICE right now that had his papers and everything. So I don't know what the hell's going on like that, but it seems like just your typical government clusterfuck. I mean, I remember one of the times I got arrested, there was a guy with a similar name as mine that had a bunch of warrants out, and because of that, I spent 16 hours in a fucking cage.
Damn.
You know,
What was
on
he
a
accused of?
gram of weed. Well, no, he was accused of a bunch of stuff, but he was like on the run.
Oh.
So like they were looking for him, and they kept me there for 16 hours just to like make sure that I wasn't him, even though it was.
They couldn't just fucking bring up his picture and be
Yeah.
like, "Well,
Even
this
though-
guy's like a 7 foot tall black man."
And I think I think he was an African American
Oh, really?
man too,
That's-
which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So so with that ICE thing, I think it's probably a lot of the similar shit going on where it's just these incompetent ass government agents.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Any more on that? Sorry. Got a little drunk.
Well, I think that while we're on the topic of Trump and all that stuff, we might as well talk about the whole media issue.
Yeah. So,
Oh yeah. So my question is,
well, hold on.
I'm torn on
Before we
this.
get to your question, let's talk about the fact that the banning of the press that he's been doing.
The media ban.
And then that can lead into your conversation.
Yeah. Okay,
Well,
gotcha,
well,
gotcha.
Media anyway, yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
yeah.
Talk about the band.
Just get that out of the way.
What kind of music do they play?
Media band.
Yeah, he
media
put
band.
band up there.
Huey Lewis in the news.
Yeah, so
American Psycho.
Trump banned a bunch
Tip
of
to be
media
square.
outlets, from his like press
Fake news.
conferences. And
Band, like everybody.
I
except
have mixed
Breitbart and
feelings
Fox.
on this one.
basically banned everybody but Fox News, Breitbart, something called what the fuck was
American News Now.
it? Yeah, that sounds like some Alex Jones shit.
Probably The Onion as well.
I actually think they are associated with
Infowars.com.
GC Ed or like something like
the Genesis Network.
they
or
might
something.
be connected with Alex Jones. That
Oh, really? That's funny. They also allowed CBS and like ABC, but they banned
not
like
the New York Times.
not the New York Times,
and-
not the CNN.
Only
Not,
conservative journalists from those bureaus were allowed.
well, how the fuck are they gonna?
They
know?
were. They had to be checked out to be conservative. No joke. They had to be. They only allowed conservative or conservative leaning moderates. They didn't allow anybody that leaned any further left in the middle ground.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about that?
I have very mixed feelings. Like, I hate the media. I
Yeah.
hate the mainstream media. I think that what we're doing right now is more so the media than them.
Yeah.
But I don't trust Trump's motives. That's my thing, is like, and an enemy of my enemy isn't always my friend.
right.
And I don't think that Trump is doing this for some, he's going to let if he were to let the alternative media in and stuff like that, I'd be like, oh, all right.
Okay,
But I
so
don't think that's what he's going to do.
So you don't
media?
think that Donald Trump is the secret Ron Paul?
I don't know. I
No,
don't.
I do not.
Yeah, we gotta
That's
get
hilarious.
Luke back on
Yeah,
here.
where's
dude.
Luke? He's
what-
he's been quiet lately.
Yeah, that would be very fun, dude.
Yeah,
Libertarians for Trump.
especially
Yeah.
after this whole weed thing, dude. It's like, oh man, if you're still behind Trump after this. I mean, I guess at this point you could say, well, that was just a press conference. Nothing's happened yet. Okay, fine.
But still-
I'll fucking grant you that. But the moment something happens, you're not immediately.
No. Use a liberal. You could use a liberal argument. Even saying something is just as bad as doing something.
But I'm not going to use the liberal argument because I'm
See,
not a fucking liberal.
it seems like that's the only argument that's allowed now.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is, look, if there's any fucking libertarians that are still on Team Trump after something actually happens in that regard, I'll let you wait until it fucking actually happens. Then, if you're still on Team Trump, then you can go fuck yourself. Deal?
Deal.
Okay.
Oh
All right, moving on. Yeah, so
no, I don't.
yeah, it's nice to see, the media get like a fucking
in the audience.
get a fucking,
It's rough.
get shit on, pissed and shit on. But yeah, like you said, what are his motives? Like, is this some like 1984 shit where it's like only stuff that agrees with me and that I can control will be able to,
It's pretty much
be
what
the
it-
media? It's like that's not the way
It's what it looks
it's
like.
supposed to work.
It's really what it looks like.
It is
Be
what it
honest
looks
about
like.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, it does look like fascism.
Right.
It does. It looks like 1984. I mean, what was it like? Earlier mid January that like 1984 had sold out on Amazon.
Yeah,
And not to
and also
mention
Mein Kampf.
this same week, and
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think
I thought it
that
was Brave
Trump.
New World.
I don't think that Trump has anything to do with this, and I don't think that Trump's connected with Google necessarily. But Google did scrub Natural News and I think maybe even InfoWars from. Well, no, they took Natural News
was
off.
doing. Yeah, but they were doing some. Skeptical Libertarian posted something about this. They were doing this sort of like illegal redirect.
Oh,
thing.
wow, really?
Yeah, which is what they're saying they got taken down for. And I mean, Natural News has been around for forever, so if Google's all of a sudden just going to take them down because they disagree with them, I don't buy that. They were trying to cheat the system. They were trying to cheat the SEO rankings.
I didn't even hear about that. That's crazy.
Yeah. So
Wow. Well, good to know that.
yeah, I think we got a fan coming down. The mascot. No? Okay. What is that?
So, what was your you had some kind of profound point about the media that we wanted to talk about earlier.
Well, no. Well, I don't think it's profound, but I think it's.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I didn't.
I think it's
don't sell
it's
yourself short,
I don't
man.
think it's a valuable question to ask. Is like, if you look at what the media is reporting on, or not being able to report on, everything centers around Donald. Everything centers around fucking Donald Trump. Everything.
Watch it, dude. Don't click it. Everything settles around Donald Trump.
Everything centers around Donald Trump now.
Okay.
Whether it's who's not being allowed to report about shit Donald Trump is doing, we don't know what the foreign policy is right now. We really don't. Other than we occasionally hear that, like, on Mattis's first day, he bombed the fuck out of ISIS.
Well, we did hear about like the shit that happened in Yemen. We've heard about the same amount that we've heard about like Obama's shit.
I was gonna say
it's
here's
a
the thing.
continuation.
Not very
Yeah.
much, though. Everything's now focusing on domestic or lack of coverage of domestic issues or lack of
Well,
coverage
yeah, I will agree. It's being
domestic issues.
it's
it's
being
Trump is
drowned out.
literally
Yeah.
the only thing we hear internationally now is Russia. We literally stuck.
Here's the thing.
I mean, in media wise, we are pretty much in a Cold War.
Are you surprised at any of this? Like, did you really think, oh well, like it's gonna go differently than it's ever gone before?
No, I really didn't. But you know what? I never in my wildest dreams would I have ever imagined that this is what life would become. Like,
What if
where,
it's
like, nothing?
Yeah,
is
what if it is a massive conspiracy by the military-industrial complex to just distract us from whatever they're fucking doing right now?
I wouldn't be
Donald
surprised.
Trump?
Like they're like, all right, if we get this fucking buffoon in office and he just does shit every goddamn day, where he's just like fucking shit up and like doing all sorts of like fascist type stuff or whatever you want to call it,
Well,
and like people are getting like super pissed off, but no one's paying attention to the right hand that's over here,
Exactly.
starting more wars in more countries and
Well-
maintaining the drones and
no one knows what the hell is going on. And if you think about it, even in the 70s, So we're in Vietnam. We're in Vietnam, and that's what's on television, and that's what people know about, right?
Sure.
Meanwhile, the military's bombing Laos, Cambodia, Mozambique, and that didn't go through Congress. You know what I'm saying? That was just stuff Kissinger was doing on the back end.
Yeah.
And people in the CIA. So, now fast forward like 50 years later with how deepened, our military is in the world.
Sure.
I can't even imagine how many countries are being bombed and stuff right now that we don't even know about. Or that we're just hiring death squads in. You know?
Or you like hear about a political assassination and they're like, oh, it was some rebel group or some whatever. But how many of those rebel groups are being armed by us?
Exactly.
You know, like that's what we do is we arm fucking rebel groups. And
I mean, I would argue that there's literally a world war going on right now, and that it's been going on for quite a while, just because of the fact of that. We're at war in like most of the world. You know what I mean? We're at war in most of the world.
Word.
You got something to say, Matt?
I forgot Matt was here.
It's something profound.
I hope it's a man bun joke.
Someone's got a little too high.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So.
Word.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, but it does really seem like a lot of this shit is just.
The only thing
it's
we
like
hear
epic.
internationally
It's
is
like
Russia.
it's like trolling, or it's like calculated for some other end. Like
It's getting like
Like,
it's
how
just
could-
obnoxious now.
Like it's almost like too absurd for a TV show. It's like, man,
If
it's
this
just,
reality was on television, people wouldn't watch it because it was too unrealistic.
exactly. Which is like on one hand, I'm like maybe that's just how ridiculous it is, or maybe it's possible that there's something else going on that we're just being distracted from. So
You know what I think it is? That this is America's final season and the writers are just going crazy.
That's a good one.
yeah.
Because that does tend to happen at the last
The
season.
writers are on strike.
No, they're just going crazy with.
Seems like they're
The
on
story.
strike and they're just got like the reserve writers. In.
That's what happened at the last
Like
season
bad
of
grammar
Dexter.
and all.
What if they elected a Cheeto?
Dude,
Quite
so,
bigly. Script was bigly.
So
Do you hear-
I think that's. Oh,
I'm sorry, but
No,
did you
dude.
hear? I think it was at the Emmys. Who is what's that one? The rap group that did the thing with
Rap group.
a
rap
tribe
group?
called
Tribe
Quest.
Called Quest. Yeah.
They were on there and they referred to Donald Trump as President Agent Orange.
That's hilarious.
I refer to him as God Emperor Chester Cheetah.
Chester Cheetah. That's funny.
If it would please the crown.
Yes, if it would
Speaking-
please the crown.
Speaking of memes, have you guys seen the awesome new "If It Would Please the Crown" meme that's been going around?
I've seen one or two of them, but I didn't
haven't
realize
seen
that it was
any-
catching
I
on.
haven't seen
Oh,
any
it's so
zingers yet.
I mean,
They're
it's
good.
definitely being like pushed by Liberty Memes, which is like the biggest
Nice.
meme page. If you're not following them, you're fucking up at life.
we can literally get everyone to start associating the crown and monarchy with the government.
Yeah,
now.
well, because it's
And
like
how bad it is.
they're pointing out shit that like ridiculous shit like
Yes.
lemonade stands. Like you need a license to have a fucking lemonade stand.
I
You need-
saw the car license one. Like, oh, can I pay to have permission to drive the car that I paid for on the road that I paid for?
Exactly, and like there was one about like the rainwater shit where it's like, if it pleases the crown, may I collect rainwater on my own property? Which is like, these are all real things that the government either has outlawed or requires licenses for. You know,
Yeah, I think that's a good one that's going to stick around for a while.
yeah.
rainwater.
But dude, I did notice like for whatever reason, Liberty Memes has been absent from my feed for like
Yeah,
a
they have.
week or two. But they've been posting. I think they're getting fucking zucked.
I've noticed
they're
quite
getting
a
They're
zucked.
getting zucked.
there is zucking
They're getting
going on.
zucked in the ass, dude.
There is definitely zucking going on. I know that when I try to share from
Would you like a
specific
duck on my
websites,
zip code?
Yeah.
I can notice the difference in interaction.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe a particular website got flagged a couple times and they're not doing good on Facebook's algorithm.
Sure.
But if I try to share one of their links, it'll be like, you get like 2 likes on a massive page.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So there's definitely zucking going on.
Some zucking.
Faceplace is not a safe space.
Face, please.
So I've always recalled it Faceplace. I always thought it sounded better than Facebook. Facebook just sounds
Face-
dumb.
I
Place
just
sounds
miss
pretty silly, dude.
MySpace.
Do you?
I had a fucking program on that shit that automatically added people for my business and
your Friendster
plastered my
account.
advertisements on their page. It was
Oh, yeah.
fucking awesome.
So you violated the NAP digitally. You aggressed on people's private page.
I marketed to them. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
I mean, dude, I used to like when Facebook first came out. I totally missed my place. My place.
My place. I miss my place.
My place. MySpace. Okay, hold on. I'm Blaze.
Safespace.com?
So no.
MySpace was more
Yo,
anarchy,
let's start-
man.
Dude, that should be the logo.
I-
Can we
okay.
Can we,
wait,
we should use the
can we
MySpace
start a s-
logo and have a fucking sticker that says safe space.
Sort of social network for SPWs. All right, go
There
on,
you
buddy.
go.
Yeah, but okay, because
I'll write these down for later.
yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying about MySpace, man, because like I did well in there too. So, but with like Facebook, okay, now I've got a fucking now I've got a page that has 175,000 likes. So I don't know. I kind of dig that more than anything I had going on MySpace.
It could have been 100,000 on MySpace. You had more freedom on MySpace, and I believe that you saw 100%
That was part of
of
its
your
downfall.
posts.
My
I
neck-
agree because I was plastering fucking advertising. Sure, I was annoying the hell out of people who weren't
Plus,
interested.
people were putting up like
My next
turning
question-
their pages pink and putting like fucking
all annoying
dude,
ass
that was
my
all
music.
favorite
favorite
shit.
part.
My next question is: when are we going to start the revolution to take back the power from Facebook and restore the power to the people? That's what I would like to know. When are we going to be the ones to decide who we can ban and who we can't ban?
Well, when we
When we start our own
design a
social
social
network.
network.
when we are admins,
If you can start a social network, Josh, that will attract 1 billion people.
are we part of the Facebook
Yeah, we can
industrial
start talking
complex?
about the
gonna be safe
revolution.
space.
Hey, dude, we're administrators on a Facebook page. We're part of the Facebook industrial complex.
Hey,
The fic.
okay.
That
Okay.
if I
And
see.
the fic.
Okay, question for everybody here. Okay.
Suck my dick.
Okay,
I
question for
played the fit.
question for everybody here. I mean,
Okay.
would you want to ban anybody on social media?
Just you.
No, never.
I mean, I ban people. I would ban like spammers.
Pedophiles.
Would I be considered a
I ban
spammer
pedophiles.
like back in the day, like
Probably.
the shit I was doing?
Probably.
Yeah, I guess it probably would.
I mean, I
I
see.
would ban pedophiles.
I
Why
mean,
is
it's
why is
people
that like even a
join.
question?
It's like people that join the PRL group and they immediately it's just like some fucking ad, and when you click on the ad, it's like you get 100 viruses. Like I don't want that shit on there. So
Well,
I'm banning
yeah,
those
I would
people.
ban people that violate basic human principles. Okay, like things like I don't know,
Like wearing a man
like
Sorry, dude. It was easy. It was too easy. Sorry.
where's that fucking
it was
man?
too easy.
Where's that fucking man bun, dude?
All
Fucking
right. Sorry.
dude,
I'm starting. I got Pandora's box open.
dude, somebody get this boy a scrunchie.
No. Sorry, Josh. That was my fault. That was my fault. I took the easy. I took the easy path when
the
I
only
should have
thing
taken.
that's getting more scrunchy is your receding fucking hairline, old man.
Oh, that was okay. That's
Dude,
all right.
that hurts so bad.
You and the prominent baloney skin like yarmulke
man.
fucking shaped dome piece.
Oh my god.
Yarmulke
Back,
shaped up.
back of your head looks like a package of Oscar Mayer fucking baloney.
Dude, that's so fucking horrible, dude.
Is it? Is it horrible?
That's hilarious,
I remember my first roast.
dude.
Do you remember that time he said, "Remember my first roast"? It's great.
It was just now.
Yeah.
What did you get baked from sitting in the
Oh
room?
man, I feel like
It's
I got a
probably
little
possible.
high, dude. Definitely feeling a little weird, guys. Yeah. So that was a fucking awesome meme that we were just talking about.
Oh yeah, that's where we were. That's where we were.
Before the.
But it's good.
We're
It's a
completely
tool that
sidetracked.
sort of points out just like the ridiculous licensing and regulations and shit that you would like. normally assume like, oh yeah, sure, it's your own property, you can collect rainwater.
Exactly.
You know, why would you need a license for that, or why would you need to pay taxes on that? You know, I mean, you're saving resources for people.
Dude, but I mean, you shouldn't just be able to like poach the king's fish.
Oh yeah, good call, dude. How's the king gonna eat? What the fuck? What
King
am I?
John's deer.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's from Robin Hood.
Oh, dude, that's the meme we should do in response to if it pleases the crown. We should do one from Robin Hood Men in Tights. He dared to kill a king's dare. Something fucking stupid like that. I like how you appreciated it.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, isn't it kind of funny because, like, you know, I mean, like, America's the melting pot. You know, we've had people that have came here from all over, but you know.
That's not really an accurate description. I think I've always felt that was quite an inaccurate description of the United States.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty inaccurate because most of the groups actually just kind of stick together. They don't really melt.
And that actually was a different social theory that someone posted, which just sounds kind of ridiculous.
I disagree.
It's called a salad bowl. Is because even though it makes one complete salad, each individual piece retains its own flavor, kind of like how in different neighborhoods pocket. It always happens. You have Little Italy, Chinatown.
Whatever, dude. Okay, but
whatever,
dude.
Fuck your facts,
dude. I'm just saying who
alternative reality.
I'm just saying who here doesn't listen to any hip hop? Does anybody here not listen to any hip hop?
No.
Crickets.
We all listen. We all listen to hip hop.
Okay, whiteys. Okay, listen. And does anybody here not like fucking tacos?
I don't like tacos.
Fuck you.
Get out of here.
I
You're banned.
love tacos.
Matt knows. I don't know if the rest of you know that I am like picky to an extreme, like 5-year-old fucking mental level. So
Do you not like any Mexican food?
I don't really like any food in particular. I have this
Just Soylent
strange
Green.
eating disorder that I've had my whole life that like everything tastes like garbage pretty much. And I stick to a couple foods that I like. It kind of sucks,
Pizza?
actually. Pizza, plain stuff. You know what I mean? Not potatoes.
That does kind of suck,
pizza.
man. You're missing out on like a whole world of experience.
I
man.
knew a guy who
It is
who
pretty
literally-
beat.
I knew a guy who had a very similar diet, and it seemed like he had a very similar type of affliction too.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but yeah. So that's my excuse for not liking tacos.
All right, that seems like a legitimate excuse to me.
No, but like my point is,
What was your point? What were you getting
Where am I
at?
going with this?
no, I mean,
You
my-
like things that come from other countries.
no, fucking everybody does, dude.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. We're
But that's not necessarily.
But did like hip hop really come
Yeah.
from a different country?
Yeah, and I'm thinking back to it. Okay, because you know, like
What?
no, I'm saying like a thing that I think is cool about America. You know, like most Americans can. No, well, here's the
I
thing.
know. Go ahead.
Here's the thing that I think is pretty cool because
What's cool,
fucking
man?
okay. So we pretty much came from England. You know, we as far as this country.
Okay.
You know,
You just assume my
The
homeland?
people that
or-
established
or
the government here.
established
did.
the state. Yes.
Yeah.
have roots that go back to England.
Yeah, but you know, looking back,
No,
like
they
you know,
literally
like
came
people in America, I feel like if you were to take a poll of like who thinks it's stupid to have a king in America, you know, you'd get a pretty high percentage of people saying that it's fucking stupid to have a king.
Yet
Correct?
we have one, more or less.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's fucking. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You get
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like we think that it's stupid, you know. But you've got that going on in England still.
Yeah, and they like celebrate it that just because they think it's good for tourism. They're like, "Oh yeah, we need a queen because it's good for tourism." That's like the argument I get into British people with all the time when I start talking about the queen and all the friggin' terrible crap that the royalty does over there. They're like, "Oh, it's good for tourism."
I have a friend that brought up.
That's a fucking bullshit argument.
We talk about like
Like,
conspiracies
what
a
about
lot.
fucking the Big Ben? Is that not good enough for you fucks?
He said that he heard a conspiracy that the Queen is a Nazi.
What?
Oh, that's the truth, dude. They got pictures of that shit, man. Yeah, dude.
Well, the Queen's last name
tell us
is
some docs, man.
The Queen's last name has actually been changed. The Queen actually comes from the House of German.
Yeah,
and
so
it was
they
changed during World War II because you can't be from the House of German and be telling people we need to fight the Germans.
Yeah, because they were the House of Windsor, right?
it was changed.
Yeah,
It was changed.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's Windsor
Whoa.
now.
Whoa.
So she's actually a Nazi?
We got the
Because she's
documents.
German?
They're called
Dude,
history books.
there are quite a few instances where this particular royal family has been. Well, first of all, the Queen. There are pictures of her when she's like 14, giving a Nazi salute or some shit.
Yeah, but I think that was later debunked, and it was just her waving.
Yeah, I
Really?
mean, that's not enough evidence for
And
me.
then
dude.
there, well,
no,
then
It was
you
a
have,
picture of her like this.
No, first off,
Very well.
I mean, if
No,
she's like
no,
sitting there and she's got a fucking armband
First off,
on.
if you don't
Yeah.
notice, this is actually a specific type of royal wave. The royal wave, literally, they take their hands. They don't wave or wave.
Yeah,
they,
you're right.
They do
They
this.
do
they
that.
do this.
Yeah.
So this can be very easily from an old woman or from a young
Dude,
child.
can you
seem
not
like
give
this.
the fucking Nazi
Like,
salute?
it could look
Well,
like that. it
however,
could look like that.
also-
it's not what I'm doing, but
No,
I
I'm
mean,
just fucking with
yeah,
you.
I'm not sure whether
Don't
it's
wanna trigger
Prince
anyone.
Charles or one of the princes now. There was some tabloid controversy a couple years ago where he was at a Halloween party dressed as a Nazi. And
oh,
it
I do
was
remember that. Yeah.
so that there are like little
Things,
inklings,
yeah.
but I do think probably one of the most interesting things I've heard about the royal family on the conspiracy tip is that they are related to Count Dracula, Vlad the Impaler.
Oh,
And
yeah?
actually, the genealogy society in England that deals with the royalty genealogy, they say
Right.
it's true.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
They're related to
Dude,
Vlad the Impaler.
That's kind of cool, though. That's not really a mark
because
on them. That's
they're-
like a positive.
Basically, they come.
Vlad Dracul.
Yeah. So their line
The Prince of
comes
Wallachia.
from Charlemagne, and Charlemagne's line apparently comes from Vlad the Impaler.
Really?
I mean, most royal families have some type of most of the
Oh,
intermarried
yeah.
anyway.
Well, all of humanity, technically. to a
Well, no,
degree.
they're even closer
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they intentionally inbred to keep the wealth in the family.
Right,
Not
right.
to mention,
All of
if there was like a group or family or a tribe that was responsible for large areas of land, they would send their children off to these different fiefdoms across Europe or whatever, and so it would seem like it's different people in different areas, but
Right.
you're being managed by cousins of brothers, and you know what I mean by it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty fucking crazy, man.
wild shit to
Vlad
think
the
about.
Impaler.
It's crazy.
That guy was a statist.
That was some straight up. that was some straight up like InfoWars lineage right there.
Yeah,
But, like,
I
I
can't
never-
help it.
Like,
That was some InfoWars
I mean, that stuff is
lineage shit.
interesting.
Yeah,
But, like,
I can't help it. I love that stuff.
Not saying that it discounting the possibility or discounting the and even entertaining the idea. I think
did
it's
source.
interesting.
I brought the documents. Burke's Peerage is the Royal Genealogical Society who tracks that stuff.
Oh, this is some
So
legit. You've
so
got the docs.
I got the docs.
Vibes got the docs.
oh,
Docu vibes.
docu vibes.
Yeah, I love the far out stuff, man. That's always good
Yeah.
times.
That genealogy shit, that's cool. But like the catching her with a Nazi sign, it's like
Yeah, that
That's
could
a
be
little
much.
bit iffy. That's a
yeah.
little bit iffy.
It's like when they like Jay-Z's in the Illuminati because he was giving like the bullhorns. It's like, okay, dude.
Is everybody dying here? Like coughing, burping? You're like everybody. Yeah.
we're ingesting a lot of
We
Fluids.
feel like we're all dying or something. Releasing fluids and gases.
Somebody just rip ass.
No, please God.
Goddamn. All right. I feel like we have more things we could talk about.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
we do.
This
actually,
is the
while
fucking
we're
100th episode, motherfucker.
while we were
There's
talking-
a specific one we didn't talk
Yeah, dude.
about.
Oh,
Maybe
Rock
I
out with
could
the
do-
cock out, Logan.
oh shit! We totally overlooked that. Go ahead.
what were you gonna say?
We haven't talked about the cop.
Yeah, definitely.
You wanna move on to that right now?
Yeah, for sure.
Sure, we didn't do that either.
All right. So Yeah, this fucking crazy video came out. I think it was... Dude, I don't even fucking know when shit happens anymore because it happens so quickly and there's so much shit going on.
It was sometime
I want to
this
say
week,
it was
though.
like... Yeah, oh, it's definitely this week. I think it was like Thursday or Friday. And it was...
I think it might have happened Tuesday or Wednesday, but
It
the
finally
big
hit
thing,
the news.
yeah, it went fully viral by Thursday or whatever. And
Okay.
the big part was they fucking had riot police, like in full riot gear,
Protecting
guarding
his
this
house.
police officer's house.
Okay. Well, let's say the story real quick.
Okay,
before
yeah,
we get
go
to
ahead.
that. So yeah, the video shows there's sort of an altercation between a police officer, like full grown
Off-duty.
police officer. He's wearing like a fucking like
Polo and
No, he's got like
He's got like a flannel or
flannel
something on.
and like
Yeah.
jeans on, so and like a wife beater, I think.
yeah,
Which makes
probably.
sense. So he's so he's in this altercation with this like 13-year-old boy, and it's sort of
The
hard.
boy walked on his lawn is the story.
Yeah.
The boy
that-
walked on his lawn because he was yelling at what the boy says in the video is that he was yelling at
Calling him a
some
cunt.
girl and calling her a cunt,
Oh, okay. Oh, so the cop started it according to the boy.
according to what the boy said in the video.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, obviously we don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't think it fucking matters because in the video, he's basically dragging this kid around. Fuck off, dude.
He's doing.
That's what I mean.
He's
Every
dragging-
fucking podcast deal with this.
He's
Josh is
Episode
getting ready to get up
100
and leave.
child.
He's like a 5-year-old.
Josh is going
So
home, dude.
this cop is dragging this
Hang
13
late, man. I got
is-
stuff to do.
Josh.
Bye,
let me
Josh.
talk. He's dragging this 13-year-old boy by his like fucking shirt, like grabbing him by the collar, and he like drags him onto he's trying to drag him onto his property. I don't know what he is intending on doing.
Well, he looks like he's trying to really just hold him and wait for the cops to get there because, like, I guess he called for
He was-
back
he
or
had a
not
gun-
backup because he's not on duty, but he called like.
I don't. I don't know. Well, they don't show
No,
him
it
calling
doesn't look
anybody.
like that.
He's
No,
just
yeah, it's
dragging
not in the
this
video,
kid,
yeah.
and the kid's like, "Look, dude, let go of me."
Leave me alone.
And
Let
like
me
he's,
go.
he's accusing him of saying that he's gonna shoot him.
But apparently,
But he said he was going to sue him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But what? Okay,
So
so,
hold on,
there-
let me tell the story and then we can ask the questions. So then he's dragging him around and like he's trying to resist, and then he sort of drags him over to this fucking like hedge of bushes, and he's like trying to like pull him through the bushes, and like another kid runs out and like knocks the cop over to like try and free this other guy from him, and like the cop like still has a grip on him and like flops into the fucking bushes, and but like pulls him over him. And then, like, he sort of gets a little bit surrounded by and it's just, like, a bunch of kids watching. And they're not, like, attacking him, except for that one kid that was, like, trying to, obviously, defend the other guy. So, he gets this thing, and you see him, like, lift up his fucking shirt, his fucking wife beater, and he's got a gun in his fucking pocket. He pulls it out, and you see the person with the camera kind of backs up, and it's kind of slightly out of view, but it's, like, slightly zoomed out. And then you hear the fucking gun go off.
That's insane.
And everybody
and then
runs.
everybody just scatters. Yeah.
this guy pulls a gun out.
You know,
on
and
a
of course,
kid.
dude, I swear to God, you could have a video of a cop sawing off somebody's head and skull fucking the remains, and people would be like, "Well, we don't know the context.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know what happened before this video."
Skull
It's like, dude,
fucking
people
the
are just
remains.
fucking. Oh man, it's fucking.
People are insane.
Pathetic. Yeah.
Yeah, so he fired off the gun multiple times. He didn't get in any trouble, but I think the kid did.
Yeah. Yeah, the kid ended up getting arrested, as I understand it, and so far nothing's happened to the cop.
Well,
Which is- it's
except
just-
he got a bunch of protection.
Yeah, so
Oh,
what
yeah,
was
so
that
let's
whole
talk
thing?
about this part.
That was the first part I heard about was all these police officers were in full riot gear, like created a perimeter around his home, and because a bunch of people went to protest it, like because he got literally nothing. No,
And everybody
no sort of-
knows where his house is.
Yeah.
He did it on the fucking...
it's in the video.
Yeah.
So I mean,
So, how long were they in front of his house for?
that I don't know.
Well, it was all night, and I know that I saw
It was
a
at least a
picture-
full night. Yeah.
I saw a picture of a fucking smashed out window in his driveway.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they
Somebody, like,
definitely
threw
got
a
to his
rock.
fucking car.
Good. Fuck him.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, full riot gear, protecting his house. God knows how many tax dollars over time, protecting this asshole.
Yeah.
But not only that, how many times have you heard stories of like normal citizens being in some sort of danger and they're like, oh, well, we can't afford to,
Yeah, they throw him in a shit hotel or something.
Well, not even that. Sometimes they'll be like, well, we can't afford to, take a whole like unit off the street to guard your house or something like
they
that.
Get firebombed.
But they'll give an entire fucking like SWAT team for one of their own.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Man. Of course, and then of course you have people that are like playing the race card on this, which is always frustrating.
Yeah, because it's an issue that definitely affects everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there is definitely a racist issue. There is a racism issue with the cops.
I mean, but it's dude, with racism, it's kind of like who fucking cares as long as there isn't any violence.
No, I mean like to an extent there is something to be said with a large segment of the police population being involved with the KKK. Because I'm saying they actively have infiltrated it. I'm not saying that that's like the be all end all. I'm just saying that it's part of the equation.
There's part of a race issue. There's a part of a class issue.
Exactly.
And then there's also I think it's more of a class issue, and it just happens to be systematic racism.
100%.
I think it's a class issue that people like to spin to like a race issue.
It's a complicated web of shit.
Yeah, racism gets drawn into it because it is a class issue, but I just think is built against.
I just think everybody in this room should be like kind of above that and more into the like into the just objecting to the aggression.
Well, no, that's what I object
the biggest
to.
part of it, but it also
we can't overlook the reality that's going on. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
but
we're not
hold
going to
on.
rail against.
But the thing is, when the argument is like, all right, we need to get racism out of the police force.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that.
Right, but that's what the media. When I say I get frustrated by that. It's not necessarily that we're bringing race in the equation, because race is in the equation.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you make it entirely about race, and it's like, oh, the problem is
100%.
we have racist cops.
Exactly.
No, the problem is you have cops that are going to pull a gun out and fucking shoot at a 13-year-old.
Yeah, because when people say when the issue is framed the way that you suggested as we have racist cops and that's the problem, when that's put forward as the problem, what are the solutions? The solutions are training, race training, compassion.
Yeah. Fire those cops.
Well, I'm just saying that's what's usually put forward.
Right.
I really think there should be a zero tolerance policy when it comes to shit like this.
Oh no, I agree wholeheartedly about what should happen.
And I think that most police departments say they have a zero tolerance policy when stuff like this.
But they
happens.
investigated
that's a public thing.
Yeah, of course.
They investigated themselves.
I'm saying they claim. Yes,
when
exactly. There is my point.
When white police officers come out, like Michael Woods, and tell you that it's a racist system, then that's when you have to start being like, all right, maybe it is racism.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is like when we talk about these issues and the complex problems about it, we need to address it as a very complex problem, not just simplistic as in we have racist cops.
Sure.
We definitely have a legislation problem that's at the root of this.
I'm just saying, dude. If you cure the aggression, like if you
that's
cure
what I was
the
just saying.
aggression,
The legislation.
if you cure the aggression, if you end the violence, it's fucking. It's fucking.
Matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And I think that that's what we should definitely focus on.
Exactly.
But I don't think that we should ignore stuff that's going on at the same time.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Good. I'm glad you guys agree.
But yeah, so I mean, I have a feeling that this situation, I don't. The cop might get suspended.
No, he won't.
You don't think so?
No.
I feel like eventually, I don't know, man.
He's gonna get a paid vacation at worst.
At worst. And the thing is he'll only get that if the media and the protesters put enough pressure on the police
Right.
department.
It's gonna have to be like. It's gonna have to be them showing up at his house every day for the next like fucking 3 weeks. And
But
then
he's
they're
right.
like-
There should be a zero tolerance policy with this stuff.
Right.
When this stuff goes down, the cop should be fired and maybe even criminal charges if he did something criminal.
Honestly,
I would say like firing.
if
a
you
gun at
think about
somebody
if you
is
think
pretty
about this,
criminal.
if you think about this in the ideal situation as we were presented with this video, we did not see what took place on that lawn. Yes, however, what warrants that this guy's going to go out and grab this kid and start swinging him around? At what point
That's what I'm
does
saying.
a normal
It's
person
like-
say, you know what, fuck, just let's you go your way, I'll go my way. Stay
Well-
off my fucking lawn.
Well, there was another kid that was coming up behind him, and the guy did have a gun.
That guy, and that guy's lucky that somebody didn't that all those kids didn't jump in and beat the hell out
They
of him.
should have.
And they should have. They should have beat him to within an inch of his own fucking
But you know
life.
what? I don't blame him for being scared shitless either.
The cop.
Yeah,
But they should have.
no, but think about it. You don't blame him for being
You don't blame
scared
the,
shit.
the
No,
kids for
I'm
being
saying
shitless.
Yeah.
The kids? Oh, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Well, look,
absolutely.
I mean, and I don't. Obviously,
should-
I'm all for like self-defense on the part of the guy, but it's
But
not
you
like
you think of why
it's
they're
not like
afraid.
it's not like he was like being attacked by like
a bunch of
a bunch of kids, and he was the one instigating the situation
Exactly.
think
that
about
they
why
were
these
defending the kid from.
And think about why these kids would be afraid of doing something to a cop, because of all the bad things you hear about what happens to people who do things to cops. Which most people would say, okay, well, that doesn't sound like it's such a bad thing. But no, it's like, what happens when things like this happen when you try to step in and defend somebody against a cop, and you also happen to be, I don't know, not white.
Right. And here's another question I have. Like,
That's why
As
these
I
kids are
understand
afraid,
it- as I
because
understand-
of racist shit like that.
right. As I understand it, like California's got pretty strict gun laws, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
how
Oh
is-
yeah.
How is this guy
So he's
allowed off duty, allowed to carry a gun
Well,
in
it
his
doesn't-
fucking belt?
Is from what I understand, you're
All-
allowed
yeah,
to
Off-duty cops
I think
can-
all
can
cops
conceal
can do
carry
that.
as
Really?
yeah,
Oh, no,
it's
no, no,
permitted.
no, no, no,
Cops
Am I
can do
wrong?
what they want.
No.
Off-duty cops can
Stop.
conceal carry, is what you're saying.
Correction officers as well can conceal carry. Correction officers
Off
even
duty.
off duty.
Yep.
And correction officers,
and that's in every state?
would even in New York. One of my friends growing up in my old neighborhood, his father was a corrections officer, and he carried more than one concealed firearm on him at a time. He said,
That's
"You never
cool.
know when." He's like,
I mean, look,
you
I'm
go
all
to work,
for
when you go to
allowing
work,
that,
he was
but
like,
I'm
as a
just
correct-
curious if this cop was.
But if
So-
it
so
was
does
your
it have
average
a cop-
citizen in California, he would have the book thrown at him for even owning a gun.
Yep.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And that's the issue.
But as long as you're part of the state, the laws do not apply.
Exactly.
They do not apply, Roland. I mean, Logan. I just
Roland?
call you Roland. I don't know.
Roland.
Roland. They don't apply, Roland. Don't worry, Roland. Everything shall be fine.
Oh my god.
Don't worry, Winston Churchill has arrived.
Shit.
Or perhaps maybe Gandalf.
Oh my god. What's happening in this podcast?
Keep
dude?
it secret. Keep it safe.
We're only at 137. I feel like we got to keep going.
Well, I did want to discuss
Wait, hold-
a couple of those events we have
need
coming
to
up.
we need to stop in 45 seconds.
No, we
because-
don't, dude.
Yes, because that means we are 138, and that's fucking punk rock as fuck.
What's 130?
I don't know what that means, but
Misfits, you motherfucking
Sorry.
posers. Fuck
All
you,
right.
you guys are posers.
No, Jared didn't know what that means, dude. So that's on him, dude.
all right, I admit. All right,
So,
I'm a poser. Let's go.
I just wanted to make some announcements about a couple events that PRL is going to be involved with coming up in the next couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as always, I've been promoting my event, the Free Your Mind Conference, which Matt, we were talking about last night. We might even set up, depending on how many of us can get out there. We might even try to set up like an episode of the podcast from there. Maybe
we are 138.
try to do some interviews and stuff like that. As
yeah.
far as libertarian crowd, we got Adam Kokesh and Derek Bros and Mark Passio and some other people like that, and also a little bit of the more conspiracy type stuff. We have the granddaughter or great granddaughter of Dwight Eisenhower, who talks about some really crazy stuff, and a lot of natural health kind of things like that. The guy who does the Truth About Cancer series, we were having him out, which actually like everybody recommended for me to check out his documentary, and I was like really inspired by it. So I actually figured it would be cool to have him out. But in addition to the Free Your Mind Conference, a week before that, the Free Your Mind Conference is April 7th through 9th. And you could come say hi to us out there. And also the Mid-Atlantic Liberty Festival. You heard about that yet in Harrisburg?
No. PA?
Yeah, it's April 1st in Harrisburg, PA. It's actually pretty affordable, too. It's just like, I think early bird tickets are like $30, but they might go up. It's at a Hilton Hotel in Harrisburg, and they have a large number of... From my house, it's only like an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
Harrisburg's only like an hour and a half from here.
Yeah. It's about an hour and 45 minutes from here, maybe. But it's about an hour from my house.
It might be closer to 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's not like 3 or 4 though.
Harrisburg's further.
But Will Coley, who runs Muslims for Liberty, he's going to be speaking there, and he's a good guy that we hang out with at Porkfest every year.
Totally, dude. Like smoking bowls with Will Coley. Fucking awesome.
And he does like this free. He does like this free Muslim food thing. Like he cooks like the ethnic food, and at a specific. I think it's sundown.
It's some Muslim holiday.
Ramadan, I believe.
Yeah.
That sounds. Yeah, I think that's April-ish, right?
June.
Dude, it's pretty.
This is June.
Hey, dude, like if you smoke up.
No. What this is at Porkfest that I'm talking about. What's it? Mid-Atlantic Liberty Festival. That is Saturday, April 1st.
Okay. Right.
Nice.
But
when is Free Your Mind again?
Free Your Mind is in Philadelphia, April 7th, the week
April
after.
7th. Okay.
And that's at the Sheridan at Bucks County.
When does that start? Because that's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. When does it start on Friday?
Like 3 in the afternoon.
3 in the afternoon it starts?
But it goes until like 10 or something like that.
And then on Sunday, when does it end?
Like 10.
10 at night?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes even, a lot of times, like, usually Mark Passio will be our last speaker. And sometimes when he gets on a topic and he starts going, it might be late before we get out of there. But of course, people are, if they have work in the morning, are welcome to leave whenever. The videos are always up on YouTube later.
Nice.
But yeah, that'll be fun. I think it's definitely important because we just most of the people that we come in contact with in our everyday lives aren't on the libertarian end of things.
No.
So it's really cool to kind of have these events to just see people in person, connect with people that we've already met online, and kind of create a in real life community.
Yeah.
And it also kind of gives you a little bit of a reset, makes you feel a little bit more sane, connecting with people who are actually on the same page instead of being the outcast all the time, as many of us are.
Yeah.
Definitely, dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty psyched about it. Jared and I are talking about going. So,
yeah, we are.
Yeah, so
Might
that'll
be
fucking
doing a
rock.
podcast from there. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And in the very least, feel free to come out and hang out.
Indeed.
Yeah, it'll be a fun time.
Yep, Tim Davis will be there as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Tim
Totally.
Davis, who was here. Was that last week on the podcast already?
Yes.
Yeah, it was last week. Yep. Fuck yeah.
Totally. Yeah, and also, while we're here, we've got right now there you can pick up Punk Rock Libertarians and Daily Liberator t-shirts at libertariancountry.com, where they have a shit ton of cool Liberty t-shirts.
The Ron Paul shirt.
Yeah, dude. Right. Jared has on the Ron Paul
Truth is Treason
in the Empire of Lies. Yes.
Yeah, they got a lot of good stuff on their site. I was looking at that last weekend.
Yeah, and if you type in the code PRL, you get a 10% discount. So get on it. And until next time, live free or die.
Break the power! Break the power! Statism's footprint is the blood that is shed. Drenching the flags on the tax bombs in red. Poisoned by a few at the expense of the many. Sold to the gods in a death machine. You can't justify killing by in a fine land. We support the troops, then bring them home. I believe that you will do the best for you. And I believe that we have the power, have the power. I hate the state, and I know I'm a slave. We can make the break the power, break the power. Society owes individuals nothing more than non-interference with natural rights. Once a virtuous person fully comprehends the non-aggression principle, the violence in the state becomes obsolete.